Hello, welcome to the Hindi session of Unique. I'm Imre Banga, Associate Professor of Hindi. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most widely spoken languages of the world, Hindi, which after English and Chinese normally occupies third place. I'm going to say a few words about the position of Hindi within Indian languages, and then to present two aspects of Hindi, one that connects it to English, and another that underlines the difference and introduces us to a different way of thinking. So, I will first discuss the shared vocabulary of Hindi and English to show not just which concepts we borrowed from each other, but also to demonstrate how much the two languages share. After that, I'm going to talk about different concepts of word boundaries and different concepts of agency. First of all, let me show you how Hindi is situated amongst the other Indian languages. With 322 million native speakers and 270 million speakers as second or third language, Hindi is spoken by more people than the entire population of the European Union put together, which is about 447 million. Moreover, on a colloquial level, Hindi is the same as Urdu, spoken by another 230 million people. These numbers are just overwhelming. Now, Hindi is called a new Indo-Aryan language as contrasted to Sanskrit, which is classified as Old Indo-Aryan. Other new Indo-Aryan languages include Punjabi, Gujarati, Bengali, and others. You can see on the map that new Indo-Aryan languages are marked as red. Hindi is the biggest of all these languages, which also includes the dialects of Bihari and Rajasthani normally. You can see how the languages relate to each other by seeing how close they are. For example, come, learn Hindi. In Hindi is Aao, Hindi sikho. In Gujarati, Aavo, Hindi sikho. Punjabi, Aao, Hindi sikho. Bengali, Eso, Hindi sikho. Marathi, Chala, Hindi shika. You see how close these languages are to each other, and learning Hindi helps you to learn Gujarati, Punjabi, and other new Indo-Aryan languages, and also vice versa. If you know any new Indo-Aryan language, to some extent, it is tremendous help for learning Hindi. Also, starting with Hindi is useful because Hindi is the language with most teaching material and reference material available for learners. Now, let me talk about English and other foreign words in Hindi. New Indo-Aryan languages derive their vocabulary primarily from Sanskrit, but there are many old words of unknown or Dravidian origin, as well as loans from Persian and in turn from Arabic or Turkish. A few words are taken from Turkish, and the names of some everyday commodities from Portuguese. Many of the commonly used English loanwords are modern objects or concepts, such as train, bus, station, radio, film, phone, computer, scooter, Wi-Fi. These words are commonly used in modern Hindi. From such borrowings, we can see that Hindi and other Indian languages were in contact with English when such objects reached India. An Indian specialty is the colloquial pronunciation of English words. So in India, you can hear film is station instead of film or station. Depending on speaker, especially in modern cosmopolitan settings, almost any English word can be used in colloquial Hindi. It can come especially handy when you have acquired some familiarity with English and you do not know a word. You just insert the English equivalent into your sentence. Now, let me move to the shared Indo-European heritage. So far I have spoken about words of English origin in Hindi. No, with the shared Indo-European heritage, the connection is deeper but less visible than in loanwords. Let me start with a spectacular example. Those who have been exposed to yoga must know about the concept of chakras. Now, chakra chakra means circle in Sanskrit and Hindi. And in fact, it is related to the word circle via Latin circus, meaning around area. Via the Greek kyklos, chakra is also related to another English word, cycle. In these cases, you can see the closer or more distant similarities. But would you have ever thought that chakra is also related to the English word wheel? Let's go back in time. The old English forms are, and sorry about my pronunciation, hoveogol or hoveovol or hoveol. They go back to a hypothetical Old Germanic forms, hoegula, hoehula, which further goes back to the hypothetical Indo-European quekholo, which in Sanskrit developed into chakra, circle, wheel. In this way, the phrase, the wheel of the circus cycle, contains 3 English nouns related to the same Sanskrit and Hindi word, chakra. In some words, the connection is still perceptible. For example, pita, Sanskrit pitar, father. Mata, Sanskrit mater, mother. Guy, Sanskrit gau, English cow. I would also add paon, pie, Sanskrit pada, and the English word pedal. Now, the shared nature of many words becomes visible when you look beyond derivations. For example, dant, meaning tooth, Sanskrit danta, is related to the root of dental, nao or nauka, both shared in Sanskrit and Hindi, are related to navy, navigate, nautical. Samp, Sanskrit sarpa, is related to English serpent, or the study of reptiles, herpetology, and the herp. Hrd or hrdai, meaning heart, is related to English heart or cardiology. Dev, God, is related to divine. You studied other European languages in school, and you may have found that these words are also related in those languages. Moreover, one tip for language learning is that when you learn new vocabulary, you should try to link words to other concepts or even feelings that they evoke. The Indo-European connection, although sometimes only distantly recognizable, helps you to learn the words and to see how the modern world is connected via ancient connections. Now, let me move to Hindi loanwords in English. It is not surprised that English has a lot of words from India. These words include Indian spices, food, plants, animals. Let us have a look at some of them. Cheetah, gavial, Hindi gharial, deodar is the tree, the Himalayan cedar is deodar. You may realize that you know the most famous Indian animals by the names Kipling gave to his heroes in the Jungle Books, such as Bhalu, Hindi Bhalu means bear, Sher from Sher Khan, Sher means lion or tiger, and Hathi means elephant. The shared words include social and religious concepts specific to India, with which the British came to contact, such as Maharaja, Brahmin, and indeed, avatar, an important concept in computer games. I am presenting a list of further interesting borrowings from Hindi and some other similar words. 3 of them are not taken from Hindi, Which ones do you think are the odd ones out? Can you first, I'm just trying to make my screen bigger, and can you first try to match the pairs? I will leave you some time to work out which English word may be related to which Hindi word, and then try to find 3 odd ones out that are not directly related to each other. So I'm sure you were able to relate many Hindi words to their English equivalents. And also you might have some idea now about what the odd ones out are. So let's start with the odd ones. The similarity between behavior and vyavahar is just a coincidence. And there are many, many coincidences between languages like this. The word charcoal is a foreign word in English and is present in Hindi as well. However, this is a loanword of Hungarian origin that eventually reached English and then via English, India. So it is not an Indian word in English, but in fact a Hungarian word in English that went over to Hindi. The case of monsoon is even more interesting. It is originally an Arabic word, mosem, meaning season, and is present in Hindi. Let me again made it full screen. So the Arabic mosem, mosim, is present in Hindi as mosam. Both words mean season. However, the connection is not with Hindi here, but interestingly via Portuguese, monção. English received the word as monsoon, and it became the name of a peculiar season, the most distinctive season, in fact, of the Indian subcontinent, the monsoon season, the rainy season, as we would translate. Now, let's see another word, almari. It means a small cupboard. In English, we have Almira, and it is related to Hindi almari, but it's not a direct borrowing. Interestingly, both words are derived from the Portuguese almario, and from the Portuguese it went into Hindi and became almari, but also it went into Bengali, where it was also called almari. And from Bengali, it came to English, Almira, or with some different pronunciation, Almira. So again, there are connections, but it is not a Hindi loan word in English. Sepoy, another interesting travel of a word. The original word in Persian is sipahi, which means a soldier, especially a horseman. In Hindi, you would have the same word, sipahi. Now, in Portuguese, this word became sipahi and sipaio. Sorry, the O is just cut by the picture. And in English, the Portuguese sipaio became sepoy. So here we have a Persian word which via Hindi reached English, but in between there was Portuguese. Now, a more interesting word, pajamas. Pajama comes from the Hindi and Indic word pajama. Jama is a long cotton gown worn by Hindus, as you can see in the picture. Pae is a Hindi word shared with Persian, meaning food. So pajama means a kind of footwear. The same word pae figures also in words like teapoy. Teapot is spelled as T-E-A in the first half, so it seems to be like a tea table. And poi doesn't mean table, it means legged, pie, leg, so footwear, and T stands for three, so three-legged, a small table, tea pie, pajama. There are also other words on the list. So these words reached English via colonialism. And I would like to conclude with two words that give you an insight, not into words traveling, which is fantastic in itself, but into British colonial mental attitudes towards the Indians. And loanwords can help to decipher it. Let us take deco, which in English slang means look, and shampoo. Deco has become slang, and I think it is mostly people of the elder generation that remember it in expressions like let's have a deco, let's have a look. The word derives from Hindi dekho, an imperative of the word to look. So dekho means look, you should look. Such imperatives, commands, are made by adding an O to the verbal root. For example, dekh becomes dekho. Loot, another loan in English, becomes luto, meaning loot it. This is fine so far, but does deco have to do anything with shampoo? Shampoo comes from another Hindi word in the imperative, champo, rub it, massage it. This was the order a colonial British officer gave to his servants when they were about to apply shampoo on his head. And eventually shampoo came to mean the substance itself. The two verbs in the imperative, and that is giving out commands, suggest that we are reaching a paradigm here. Indeed, many colonial officers limited their command of Hindi, or Hindustani as it was called at that time, limited their verbal paradigms into commands. So they didn't need anything more than that. This is confirmed by other sources, such as Kipling's poem, Gangadeen, which was composed in 1890. This aims to mimic a British officer's language towards his Indian soldiers and servants. So I'm quoting a few lines from the poem. You limping lump of big brick dust Gangadeen, high, slippy, hidarao, water get it, pani lao. You put some jaldi in it, or I'll marrow you this minute. These lines are full of words from Hindi or Hindustani. Apart from the adverb jaldi, which means quickly, essential for giving commands, these lines contain three Hindi verbs, all in the imperative. Two of them are indeed commands. Hidarao stands for the Hindi idhar aao, come here, and pani lao means bring water. The poem confirms that the officer, just like the first users of shampoo, did not learn Hindi verbal paradigms beyond the imperative, since maro is used in the sense of hit, a present indicative, but it is in the Hindi imperative form, hit it. Now, I will be talking about some peculiarities of Hindi. We have seen an example of how social relationships are embedded into language and word borrowing. In the remaining few minutes, I would like to talk about two attitudes that are missing from English, but are very much present in Hindi. The first of them is the withdrawal of agency in certain expressions, and the other is the blurred meanings. With the withdrawal of agency, I refer to the fact that you do not say in Hindi things like, I have lost the key, or I have broken the glass, or I have missed the train. In such sentences, agency is in the hands of the grammatical subject, I. However, Hindi does not work so. It recognizes that such things were not done deliberately, and withdraws the agency from the subject. Hindi prefers to say, the key is lost, the glass is broken, the train is missed. If really necessary, it also adds, by me. Hindi is often more interested in the action than in the individual agency. This goes so far that we have court trial documents in which murderers confess that murder happened, and they add, by us. Do we perceive English as normal? In the West, we often think that we are on the top of things, we are the agents. Hindi recognizes that sometimes things happen to us, and even at the level of grammar, we often see such things. Now, another interesting thing in Hindi is the blurred meanings. Blurred meanings are very often useful when the speaker doesn't want to be specific, but wants to, would like to leave a wider scope of decision to the listener. Often it can convey a slight pejorative or playful meaning. How can you blur the meaning? One is by echoing words and changing the initial consonant in the second instant to V. So, a famous Hindi film is titled English Vinglish, English and Related Matters. Similarly, in India you will hear chai vai, tea or something. And you can make up similar compounds from the words that you already know, such as bhalu valu, sher ver. Rewind this talk and find out what bhalu valu or sher ver might mean. So that's it. To conclude, I would like to remind you, please remember that language learning can be tedious, but techniques such as associating words to other concepts are often very helpful. And beyond the tediousness, there is also a playfulness to learning, and eventually it results in widening the horizon of our human experience. So thank you for your attention.